We must protect our citizens from those who seek to spread terrorism, extremism, and violence inside our borders. Immigration is a privilege, not a right, and the safety of our citizens must always come first, without question.
Sounds like President Trump wants to take the lead on how the world deals with immigration and fighting extremists. And that no longer makes him the leader of the free world? Take a look at this, everyone. This headline here from Politico magazine. And I quote, "The leader of the free world meets Donald Trump. Angela Merkel, whether she wants the job or not, is the West's last best hope." Wow. All right, we talk about media bias. This seems to be taking it to a whole nother level. I want to go right now to Zuhdi Jasser of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and ask you, Zuhdi, what do you make of that?
Well, Trish, it's amazing. What planet are these writers on? I mean, maybe she's the leader of the undertakers of the free world. I mean, listen, I'm in favor of not changing the image of what America is and what the West is as far as accepting those who share our values. But she has been the leader of a national fratricide in Germany. The European collectivization, the socialism that is failing, that has basically said set aside national identity, spawned this hyper-nationalism that's happening in Europe. And that Political headline really speaks to how out of touch a lot of the commentators are in the media about the reality of this struggle between who we are as national states of freedom and liberty that represent the last best hope of the world for freedom versus those collectivists who want to hand it over to the Sharia states and those who come in not because they want freedom, but because they want to change the West and defeat the West. Yes, we should let some refugees in, but we should not let those come in who don't share our values. And Politico really highlights the fact that they really don't understand that battle.
Dr. Jasser, is this sort of a self-hatred that some members of the media have, that perhaps that's in fact what Politico embodies? I mean, they dislike Donald Trump so much and what he stands for that it's become this sort of self-hatred of America.
It's an anesthesia. It's a fact that everything's about the partisan axis of the debate, not about what maybe we all share as Americans, that there may be many things that President Trump is doing correctly that they would agree with. I mean, we went from 8 years that any disagreement with the president was racism to now any agreement with the president is looked upon as racist, which is absurd, where he is defending our country, protecting us in a way that the previous administration did not. And yes, we need to fine-tune that. I'd like to hear from President Trump what we're for, not only what we're against, but that really is a small difference from what the Political headline is all about.
Yeah, you know, and one thing I should point out, this wasn't presented as an op-ed, which you look at a headline like that and you kind of think this is someone with an opinion, but it certainly is someone with an opinion. His name is James Rubin. He is a journalist, but he's also a former member of the Clinton administration, having served as the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs in the Clinton administration. It seems to me, Dr. Jasser, he's continuing that role, pretending to be an unbiased journalist, yet continuing on in that role almost in a public affairs kind of way by trying to hit hard at our president, trying to say he's not the leader of the free world. I mean, it feels as though we're going a little too far on that one.
And I'm so glad you brought up that point, which is I after reading it, thought it was an op-ed. I mean, it's just crazy that they don't see where we are in this time in history in which the West needs to stand up for the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The nationalism is the only solution. Patriotism to our beliefs and our values is the only solution against global Islamism and global jihadism. The reason so many Muslims are being radicalized in Germany, Belgium, America, and the UK is because we've lost the hold of what it means to be British and American or German. And until they start to redefine that, and by the way, while Wilders lost in his election, he came in second. And unless we try to counter that hyper-nationalism with some solutions, the Rubins of the world are going to continue to make us asleep and leave us asleep in anesthesia.
Finally, I should just say before I let you go, you practice a reformed Islam, is something that you've been promoting very heavily, but I know you consider yourself an American first, above all?
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely lead my life in a God-centered way. God is part of my life, but Islam as a faith, I believe is a personal choice. And the thing that gives me the reason why I served in the Navy and I would only die for this country, not for my faith, is because that's the identity that gives me human rights. And until Muslims start to defeat this Islamist national identity that creates the ISISes, the Iranian Khomeinis, the Brotherhoods of the world, it's that American solution that's the only solution. So as we start to get a policy to keep us safe, I hope the Trump-Merkel discussions of the world start saying we need to start breeding Muslims and helping Muslims breed ideas that are about national identity first and their faith global identity second, third, or even remotely related.
All right, so take that, Politico. Thank you so much. Dr. Jasser, good to see you.
Thank you.
All right.